Good evening, everyone. In fact, I can't even just say good evening. I have to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where you're tuning in from in the world. My name's Naomi Empowers, and it's my privilege to welcome you to another episode of the Naomi Empowers show. I hope everyone is doing really well today. It's great to be back with you. It seems like these days just fly past so quick. And again, it's another Sunday. We go live every Sunday at 8 p.m. British Summer Time, 3 p.m. if you're on the East Coast, and midday if you're on the West Coast. It's so great to be back with you all. Whether you're joining us on Facebook or on YouTube, thank you so much for being here. So, for those of you who have joined us on Facebook, I want you to go ahead and click that share button somewhere at the bottom of your screen. We want to make sure that as many people get to hear the pearls of wisdom that are going to be dropped on today's show. And if you are joining us on YouTube, as I can see Phoebe is. Hey, Phoebes. If you're joining us on YouTube, go ahead and press that subscribe button, but don't forget to press the bell to get notified every single time we go live with an episode of the Naomi Empowers show. Guys, it's been a crazy week. I don't know about you, but this week has been a really busy one for me, or should I say the past week has been, and lots and lots have been happening. So a couple exciting things I wanted to share with you. Can't remember if I told you this last week, but I have a free gift for all of my followers. So if you go ahead to my website, www.naomiempowers.co.uk, a pop-up will come up allowing you to enter your details to get your free gift, which is my 7 Days of Empowerment series. It's an audio message dripped down into your inbox every day for 7 days, voiced by myself. It's my opportunity to be your personal cheerleader, bring you some joy, some inspiration, and some encouragement for the week ahead. Also, exciting news. I'm really excited to share with you that I have an online event coming up this Friday at 6 p.m. It's a goal setting and a virtual vision board workshop. And that's going to kick off this Friday, 6 p.m. British summertime. And you can get your tickets from the link appearing on your screen right now. It's www.naomiempowers.co.uk/the reset. I mean, let's be honest, the pandemic, lockdown, the protests, it's been a crazy time. And it's no wonder that sometimes things like this can really distract us from our goals, distract us from the vision that we have for our future. And so I'm inviting you to join me this Friday for a virtual vision board and virtual vision board workshop and goal setting session where we can kind of just draw a line, perform a hard reset, and get our minds right back in tune and back in track to achieving what it is that we want to achieve. So guys, today you are definitely in for a treat. I've managed to pin down a good friend of mine. I'm not going to do too much by way of introduction. I'm definitely going to leave that all to him, and I'm going to let him know I don't want the humble version. But he's absolutely amazing. I had the privilege of, in fact, no, let me not even go into that because I'm going to get carried away and start telling his story when he's here to do that for you. So the Naomi Empowers show is a platform where I invite entrepreneurs, people who are in business, people who are self-employed to come and share their most valuable life lessons. You see, I really believe that there is great value in us, collating and collecting the knowledge and the wisdom that is within our communities that we can help one another become better. You've all heard the saying that iron sharpens iron. This is your opportunity to have some wholesome and edifying and uplifting and empowering content to help you stay on track and to help you on your journey towards success. So as I said, I've got a very special guest who is online right now. I can see him. He's in the broadcast studio waiting to come on. But before we do that, I am just going to play a bit of an intro to give you a flavor of who my special guest is today. And as soon as that video's done, the next person I will be welcoming is Mo Samuels. Stay tuned, guys.
Nana,
Just an SOS once again.
speeding to you, and you give me every reason to switch style, never switch on you, never let up strip on you. Snack time when I lick on you. takes time when I work my move. Got the power like you study the voodoo. How you put it on me, juju, juju, juju. Touch me like soca, yeah. All up on me, hot like this solar, yeah.
Hey Mo.
How are you? Wow.
I am doing great, Mo. How's it going?
Man, how isn't it going? How isn't it going? Everything's good, man. Thank you for having me on this platform. Sincerely appreciate it, and I'm excited to just get talking and sharing some knowledge and some insights to basically what we do over here and what's going on. How you feeling? How's lockdown been? Now let's talk about that first.
Yeah, you're so right. That's exactly what we do need to talk about. I always say that the pandemic is not a good thing. And I always want to preface anything I say with that, because I recognize that this has been like a traumatic experience for so many people. Lives have been lost. Families have been torn apart. People have lost their livelihoods. It's been a high stress. It's been an emotional roller coaster. But you know what? I remember saying to some friends of mine that I want to make this commitment to ensure that I use this time wisely, and that in the event of God sparing my life and ensuring that I come out of this the other end, I want to be one of those who's actually come out of it as a winner. And so I've kind of forced myself to push and to push hard to make sure that I'm making the most of my time and that I'm using my time wisely to build, so that when we come out of this, I'm on a higher level than where I came into it. Does that make sense?
That makes absolutely perfect sense.
How's it been for you? How's it been for you?
Oh man, where do I start? I think what's crazy is no one expected it. I think that's really what it was. It's different if you're prepared for something like this, but no one kind of knew that this was coming. No one knew that it was going to happen this way. No one knew it was going to be in it this long. But you know what? If you want me to be honest, it's really been a time, like I always tell you all the time, it's just really for me been a time of development and growth. I guess God had different plans. Everyone there was like 2020 vision, and we're gonna do this, which is great. I mean, I'm not knocking anyone that did that, but I guess the 2020 vision we had in our head was completely different to the vision God had in his head. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So it's been a little rough, and I say rough from a should I say a mental standpoint of view. When you're in London, you kind of see it's on TV what happens over there. But I guess being here in the midst of everything has really been an eye opener. Like, wow, like, huh? Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Do you know? You got to stop right there, because I'm realizing something. Yeah, I have been very, very presumptuous. I don't think I can't remember if I told people exactly even where you even are. So when you're talking about being here, do you know? So let's just break it down for 1 second. Mo, let's rewind a minute. Yeah. Please, I know that there's going to be people on this stream who are hearing of you for the very, very first time, whether you're watching this live or on the replay. I know we've got the Dream Days Network who's just jumped in on YouTube to say, I want to meet this guy. And Phoebe's telling me off, saying, no, I didn't introduce you. I didn't say where you're from. So Mo, listen, there's going to be people on here who don't know who you are. I want you to introduce yourself for us before we get into our conversation. Introduce yourself, and I don't want the humble version. I want the version that I will be like, yes, that's right.
Right.
So go ahead, Mo. Over to you.
So my name is Mo Samuels. Originally from London. Both parents Nigerian, and then we put that in there. Big up my Africans. I see you with the Gele on your head. Say that. I'm a part of a production duo called the Santa Sonics. Myself, Mikey and Mac. Originally lived in London my whole life, and then in 2011, I had the opportunity to start going back and forth to LA. Shout out to Harmon Samuels, my older brother, who moved here in 2009, and kind of was set the precedent for the opportunity to be able to come to LA constantly. So while we was in London, we had the privilege of obviously working with, the likes of Stormzy, the Wretches, the Mel C's, Talisa, everybody you can think of. And then, we kind of wanted more. It was just like, how do we do more? And then the idea of moving to Los Angeles kind of came up. So about 2015, we signed our publishing deal to a publishing label out here.
Yeah.
And then it was trying to do it back and forth was quite difficult because our publisher at the time basically wasn't able to get us the work we needed because we were so far away, you know, very heavily involved with the music industry out here. So me and Mikey, we were sitting and thinking, right, LA, I don't know. You know, we were kind of bouncing around, and then, you know, Harmony was like, no, you need to be here. If you want to, you know, reach the high expect you see yourself, and for what you're trying to build, you need to be in this environment.
Yeah.
So 2016, 17, got our visas, everything, and, you know, we took the flight, took the jump, and came here. And then had the privilege of basically started working with, you know, Ty Dolla $ign, Trey Songz, Janet Jackson. You know, we did a whole bunch of stuff. And then recently we ended up working with Justin Bieber on his album. But there's so much that we've been able to do in 10 years. I don't think I'd be able to pinpoint and go through everything, but it's all the socials and any questions about who we worked in and stuff, you can always ask. So that's kind of like the
No, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And so, for those of you who are watching at home or wherever you may be, I think we're still locked down, so I think people should be at home. But wherever you are, feel free to drop in the comments and let us know if you got any questions for Mo. Because you know, I was really, you know, Mo, I can't believe it's been 5 weeks since we
were saying this yesterday.
It's crazy, like how time has just flown. I was really excited to get Mo onto the show. I had the privilege of meeting Mo last year. Look, Shay's making the Dream Days Network is saying, drop those names. We demand it on the show. No, absolutely. Yeah. And I think it's brilliant. You see, because I'm all about celebrating my brothers and my sisters who are doing amazing things in their respective fields. It doesn't matter what space you're in, what industry you're in, but whatever it is that you're doing, being able to do it at such a high level and with such excellence is something to be celebrated. I had the privilege of meeting Mo and Mikey when I went to LA last year. And I was only there for a week, and it was a quick trip, but oh my goodness, in that space of time, I just have to say, got absolutely nothing but respect for you, Mo, for your business partner Mikey, and for your brother Harmony, because you all welcomed me with open arms, and you know, we became family in literally the space of a week. And it's been one of those situations, you know, sometimes people like, yeah, take my number, let's stay in touch, and they don't really reply. But you know what I mean? But I remember, guys, Mo would be cussing me that I wasn't calling, I wasn't getting in touch. And he's like, you know, if I say it, I mean it. You know, I have to say, obviously, I thanked you privately, but I must thank you all publicly for the love that you showed me. You definitely restored my faith in humanity again. So thank you. So no, let's go back to what you were saying about being on the front line, being, you know, obviously we know what's been happening around the world, especially what kicked off really in America in the past few weeks. So talk to me about what it's been like actually being there.
Man, where do I really start? It's very hard to put into words the emotions that you experience being here and kind of having friends who are actually on the front line protesting. You know, for me especially, because being young, you know, you used to hear about America and America being this place that everyone goes and your dreams become a reality, which they do. I'm not taking that away, but there is so many other things that you understand and you have to uncover to really understand what this land is about and what has transpired way before any of us even knew this place existed. And you know, throughout this period, you know, with the Black Lives Matter movement and everything that's been happening, I've really been able to delve in, and really like catch up on history and what's really happened here. You know, i.e., you know, the Tulsa massacre and, you know, the civil rights movement and, you know, amongst other things. It's really like serious. So, you know, watching everything kind of unfold really took me back, because it was just like, huh? Like, this is nuts. You know, one of the hangings that happened actually happened 20 minutes from our house. And then you kind of think to yourself, like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to be by myself or move around by myself in case something like this happens. So it's definitely scary. It's definitely very nerve-wracking because you just don't know how to move, where to move, if anyone's gonna approach you or say anything that's gonna, you know, draw your character out to somewhat defend yourself. So yeah, it's in your face. It's in your face. It really makes you have to address it, you know, head on, and really have a lot of confidence in yourself and the people that you have around you.
Wow, that's really, it's really insightful, because, you know, I think oftentimes, you know, especially for, at least for me, the things that I've been watching on the news or on social media, you do feel as though you're a little bit removed from it. This is not to say that issues of, you know, systemic anti-Black racism do not affect us here in the UK, because you and I both know that they do. But I can't imagine, for example, you know, to be living 20 minutes, literally 20 minutes away from where these, and please, let's not call them suicides. I don't know what's going on.
No, they're definitely not.
Come on, it's nonsense. It's a crazy time. It definitely is a crazy time. So thank you for your insights. Mo, go on.
Like I said, sorry to cut you. Like I said, it definitely forces you to understand the Black community out here very differently. You know, even though we're all one race, and you know, Black is Black, but the demographic here is very different to how it is in London. Very, very different. You know, the racism in London, it's very closed. You know, everyone kind of will be like, "Hey, how you doing?" and then turn around and then say the N word, and then, but out here, it's like they will look at you in your face and tell you and say you are the N word, and you're kind of in a place where you're like, do I swing for you, or do I just, you know what I mean, get my phone out? And do you get what I'm trying to say? It's really a battle with, you know, how you kind of just move around in the society. So it's been very eye-opening, you know, very like, wow, America, is this really what you're about? You know? So, it's interesting.
Well, and I'm sure we're going to get more into, you know, your experience in America. But Mo, I just really want to kick off this, or rather continue even this conversation with asking you about your most valuable lesson on your journey. Like I put in the description when I was sharing this on my own social media, you are actually the embodiment of the dream. You are the physical manifestation of someone who had woken up one day, or maybe they've had it in their heart from when they were a child, who have this dream to pursue a career in the music business. And you and I both know that the music industry is it has got a high failure rate. Not everyone who dives into this head first actually is able to, you know, stand the test of time and is actually able to make serious waves. But, you know, just by, you know, some of the names of the people that you, and I know the Dream Days Network asked for about dropping the names, but, you know, I know some of the people that you've worked with are definitely a testament to the fact that you've done it, you're doing it. And I know that there are going to be many people who will watch this on the replay or who are watching now who are going to be interested in the story. And I'm really passionate about doing this because so often we see people on the main stage, we see people who have made it, and maybe they're on chapter 10, but we're on chapter 1 on our journey. And we then wonder, well, how did you get there? Like, what happened? How did you manage to go from here to over there and to be able to work with these world-class artists and make your dream a reality? So I want you to let us all know, what if you had to choose one? And I know it's difficult, but if you had
it is hard. If
you only had to choose one lesson, the most important or the most valuable life lesson that you've learned on your journey, what would that be?
Oh man, can I put 2 words? Go
on, go for it.
I think I'd round it up to what I said to you yesterday, which is the resolve is more important than the results. Now,
say it again.
The resolve is more important than the results. Now, a lot of people might say, well, but you know, you need to focus on the results and focus on where you're going to be. That's all great, but at the same time, it's really down to the consistency of what you do every day that gets you to that place of should I say stardom, or the place of success. Do you understand what I'm saying? Before, it used to be about, you know, when we do this and when we do this, then this is what will happen. Or, you know, when we get here, and, you know, sometimes what happens is when those things don't happen at the time that you want it to happen, you kind of become disappointed in yourself, and you feel like, I haven't been able to do this, and I'm 25 years old and I haven't da 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 da. But the reality is the result isn't in your control. You can't control when this is going to happen or when that's going to happen. All you can control, it's what you do every day, the discipline in waking up and doing what you believe in, that is going to change your life over a period of time. That's what, I guess, when I sum up everything and everything I've been through, what my journey has really been about, and how I went from focusing on becoming successful to just being successful every day, waking up every day, training every day, going to the studio every day, making sure that, you know, I'm making the best record that I can, you know, putting 100% effort in everything I do. And then before you know it, 5 years have gone, and you're just like, wow, I've done this, I've been able to achieve that. So the results happen, but they don't happen at the time that you want it to. So the consistency, the resolve of everything becomes the most important factor of chasing what you're trying to chase.
Mo, I find that a really, really powerful and a really interesting lesson, because, and you know, I shared this with you before. This is something that you've really challenged me with what you're saying, because I don't know about, and you tell me in the comments as well if this is the case for you. I've been taught to focus on the results. I would describe myself as a result-oriented person. It's almost like it doesn't, and I've actually said it, that it doesn't matter about what it is that you're doing. Really, what's important is the result, the outcomes, or the outputs of whatever it is that you're doing. But you're offering a slightly different perspective, which is that, and so just if I'm understanding you correctly, you're saying that the results are out of our control. So focusing there is futile. What we need to focus on is the resolve, is the commitment, is the consistency in doing the right thing consistently in order to lead to the results. Yeah,
absolutely. It's just like what I said to you yesterday. The example of, you go to the gym, you do 10 press ups, you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, raw, like, where's the muscles? And then you don't see it. And you kind of, you get disappointed, like, but I just did 10 press ups. But it's not in what you do in one day, it's what you do over the course of time. Every fitness person that you see has big muscles and abs and stuff. That didn't happen overnight. That's something that they've been doing consistently over 10 years. So when it becomes more about the work that you're putting in, you know, the effort that you're putting in daily, you don't even realize that the results are actually happening in front of you. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Sometimes as human nature is to focus on, if I don't hit this mark, then I haven't achieved greatness. Does that make sense? I'm trying to say, if I get to 30 and I haven't done everything, then I haven't. But the fact that you're being consistent every day, you don't realize the success that you actually have achieved over that period of time. And that's what it became for me. It became so much about constantly just waking up every day and doing whatever I can within my control. It's kind of just like how you control your emotions. Like, you can't control what someone else is going to do, but you can control how you respond to that situation.
Absolutely. I just want to bring in some of the comments that have been coming in. One from the Dream Days Network says, the story matters. It makes the dream relatable. We can cheer even louder because we can see how hard it's been to get from there to here. It's inspirational. And Phoebe's saying, yes, I've definitely been taught to focus on the result too. And you know what? You said something that has made me think how important what you're saying actually is, especially when you talk about not seeing results overnight. I find that especially in the music industry, it can be really challenging for people who are grafting. They're putting the work in. They are they're writing every day, or they're recording as often as their voice will allow, and they may not be getting the results that they desire. But then all of a sudden, you'll see someone who kind of pops up with, you know, relatively less talent. They may not be as good as you, but then all of a sudden, like, they're flying, and they're thinking, well, gosh, what happened to me? Like, I've been putting the work in, but I'm not getting the results. So I guess I really want to ask, how have you been able to navigate that on your journey? Because you're here now, like, you're at the point where you can say it's about the resolve, not the results. Some may argue, Mo, that it's easy for you to say, because you've already got the results. You've already got a track out with Justin Bieber. Like, I was checking out the numbers on YouTube alone, you know, just last night. So some may argue, yeah, Mo, it's all well and good you say that, but you've already got the results. How did you learn that lesson? What happened specifically to help you understand, or to get to the point where you can say it's about the resolve and not the results?
Man, and you're right for saying that, you know, being at a point now where I can say that, but I feel like being at this point, I'm able to tell the people that are just starting that if you do that now, by the time you get to the point that I am at, whatever that is, you would understand the concept of why the resolve is so more important. But like I said to you yesterday, naturally as humans, we tend to base our success or what we achieve on what's happening around us. You know, I'm trying to say I did it. You know what I mean? There were so many people I used to be like, but this producer and whatnot. And it affected me greatly, myself and Mikey, because, you know, you kind of lose hope, you know what I mean? But when you start understanding that everyone's journey is very different, everyone's calling is very different, you become aware that as long as I can focus on what I can do, then everything else doesn't really matter. So, you know, and one of the biggest lessons I learned was to be happy for those that are actually going forward further or quicker than you are. Because what you're effectively doing is telling, should I say, the universe, or you're telling God that, you know what, even though it isn't my time, I'm happy for whoever is going forward. And I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, because I know at some point I'm going to reach where I need to reach. So, like I said, you are not in control of the results. You can't say that, all right, today I'm going to make a record, and when it comes out tomorrow, it's going to be a number one. It's not in your hands. There's nothing you can control. You read the book, The Alchemist, right? I'm sure you have.
Yeah.
It says in the book somewhere where it's like, all right, you have a situation in front of you. The question is, can you control it? The answer might, can you do anything about it? The answer might be no. Don't worry about it. The flip side, you have a situation in front of you. Can you do something about it? Yes. Still don't worry about it. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, it's very much about understanding where you're trying to be. And when you understand where you're trying to be and living a life of purpose, it doesn't become about, I need to be here to prove this, or I need to be here to state that I'm now successful. It just becomes about the lifestyle that you're living. What are you doing every day to get to that place? And that's why I say, for me, being at the point now, I can say that. And I know that if I was younger, 10 years younger, and I understood this concept now, a lot of things probably would have happened way more quicker, because, you know, I wasn't focused on becoming the biggest producer. I just started focusing I started focusing on just being good at what I do. Does that make sense?
It does. I want to bring in a few of the comments. We've got Phoebe says, yes, Nay, I can definitely relate to looking at someone else and seeing them fly and becoming discouraged because my hard work hadn't taken off yet. It's a hard process. There is a question as well. How do you marry the dream or the focus when you're working in a partnership? How can you be happy to wait your turn if your partner is tired of waiting and is rearing to go?
Let me read that question again, so I need to answer it properly. How do you marry the dream or the focus when you're working in a partnership? How can you be happy to wait your turn if your partner is tired of waiting and is ready to go? Firstly, purpose and vision. Let's start there.
All right.
I think myself, you know, me and you, we've, you know, I appreciate having the conversations that we have, because, you know, there's so much insight that we get, and there's so much things that we talk about. But vision is being able to see your end at the beginning. Let me start. What does that mean? That means that whatever current situation you're in, right? Being able to be like, all right, I'm in this ruckus right now, but I know that I'm gonna reach this place at some point. Don't know when, but I am. So whoever you're in partnership with, if they're not able to see that same vision with you, or at least have an idea of what you're both trying to achieve, then maybe that partnership isn't something that, do you get what I'm trying to say? And that's not to, discourage anyone to say you shouldn't, but at the end of the day, purpose is a journey. It's not a destination. You don't get to purpose. You walk in purpose. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And it constantly goes back to what I was saying before about what you're doing every day. If you and your partner are not understanding that this is a journey, this is something that you're doing every day, and this is where you're trying to go, then there's going to be, but why are we not doing this? And why are we not doing that? There's going to be a lot of arguments because the agendas are very different. Do you get what I'm trying to say? I have to use Mikey, for example. From the day that I met Mikey, from the day that we became brothers, business partners, or whatever, we always had this long-term goal. It was always the long game.
Yeah.
Now, at points, there's always going to be, one person that's stronger than the other and the other person that's stronger than the other person. However, when you both understand what you're trying to achieve and where you're trying to go, you become more understanding of the fact that it's not going to happen overnight. So whenever let's say, for instance, whenever Mikey comes and he says something like, yo, Mo, just frustrated. Why are we not? Because I know where we're trying to go. It's easy for me to be like, yeah, Mike, but remember what the long-term plan is. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And if you constantly change your mindset and drill that connotation in your head, you get to a point where like, you both understand what you're trying to do. You both understand where you're trying to go. And that's why I said that having vision in a partnership is very important. Understanding what the agenda is. What are you trying to achieve together? Do you get what I'm trying to say? This isn't a one-man band. This isn't, what's the saying? No man is an island. Do you get what I'm trying to say? You both understand where you're trying to go and trying to achieve. Those sort of things wouldn't even be a problem because both of you know where you're going. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So it's important, like Phoebe just said, to surround yourself with people that think the same as you, that have the same mindset as you.
Yeah.
One of the things that I realized was when I became more focused on, what I'm trying to do and the purpose, my circle kind of started changing. The books I started reading changed. The things I started listening to changed because I became very acquainted with the journey and what we're trying to achieve and the long-term plan. So to answer your question, I think it's really about when you know where you're trying to go, when you understand what you're trying to do, if that isn't the same as the person that you're in partnership with, then that friendship, that partnership won't work. It just isn't going to work.
How can two walk together unless they agree, right?
Agree. Exactly. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. What does the good word say? Where two or three are gathered, he's there. So God understands that two or more people have to be in agreement. We have to agree for us to even take down any mountains, for us to do anything great. But if that agenda isn't set from the beginning, if you both don't understand what you're trying to do, you're running into a dead end at some point. And one person's going to be like, oh, you think da 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 da, and they're going to just go off. And it's happened to us on numerous occasions. I'm trying to say, a lot of people want things to happen at the speed of light, and life just doesn't happen like that. I'm trying to say.
No.
Question.
No, I think it was a great answer. Well, she the Dreams Network is applauding, so I definitely feel that they've that you've answered the question. I've got a question for you though, and it's going back to what you were talking about, because I'm particularly interested. Here's the thing: I think that we can learn more from failure and from the sad or negative times than we can do from success and the good times. I believe that there are more valuable life lessons in those darker times. And so I really want to know if we can kind of go there for a minute. You talked about times where, perhaps you've lost hope. Let's say where you hadn't quite reached or had the level of success that you're enjoying now. I want to know what it was like in those dark times when you felt like you've lost hope, or, talk to me about the situation that you were in at a time when you felt like, gosh, all hope is lost. And I don't know if I can make this.
Man, so many times. you know, between 2011 to 14, 15, should I say 14? It was tough. And I say tough because one, I come from an African household. God bless my parents, who I guess have this ideology of the type of job you're meant to have and, you know, what you're meant to do with your life and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So you have that battle to fight on a daily.
Wait, Mo, because there are going to be some people who don't come from an African household, so who don't quite understand. Like, you're from Nigeria, we're your neighbors from Ghana, so I definitely get it, yeah? But people don't quite get it. Tell us, what are the expectations? I'm sure they're the same.
Okay, so being African, your parents believe in a form of security, and that form of security is making sure you have an education and making sure that you have a good job, right? Anything outside of being a doctor, a lawyer, anything that socially, accountant, anything that socially makes them look good, forget yourself, makes them look good is acceptable. Anything entertainment, sports, it ain't happening.
It's not.
It isn't happening. You get what I'm trying to say? So now I was lucky enough to have Harmony, who kind of had broken that mold a little bit, but there was still some reservation that, you know, we don't know if you should, you know, all of that. So it was battling that, but then also battling being in a country where everything is very like, have you got a top 10? Do you have a number 1 record? Do you have a number 5? Do you get? And if you didn't have any of those things, no one was going to open the door for you. No one cared. No one was interested. So, and I revert back to why having a partnership is very important as well. The right partnership. So obviously at the time we were coming to LA, and this was our first time, you know, being in Los Angeles. I'd been to America before, but being in Los Angeles, and it was just like, everything that you kind of had in your brain was just like, okay, so this is very much possible. So 2013, we had worked on Ariana Grande's album. You know, number 1 in 40 countries, all the numbers, everything that you can think of. Debut album, you know, new artist. You know, shout out to Harmony for putting us on the album and getting us involved. Came back to London, and it was just like, we don't care, and we were like, huh? No. We were like, what? How? Like, you lot are talking about numbers. The album's doing numbers. One of the songs was a single. Like, how can you know what I mean? And that's very, very dampening because, you know, like I said, again, when you focus on the results, when you focus on thinking that when I hit this mark, I'm successful, everything is going to open up. It doesn't work like that. So it was a very, very depressive time, you know, because we thought that this was going to be the open door. They really didn't care. See, Mikey, you know, it was just like, we thought that this was going to be the open door. This was going to be the thing. And it was just like, we don't care. What have you done here? And we were like, do you get what I'm trying to say?
Let me just ask on that. When you said they didn't care, are you talking about like those closest to you, your family?
So the labels, all the labels in London, managers of, you know, top artists and, you know, people that we thought that when we had achieved this great thing, you know, they would come running, or, you know, things would just be easier. And it wasn't. And it was just really terrible. You know, no one was interested. No one wanted to, you know, give us a bly or an open door. It was just like, well, she don't really care, so it doesn't matter. So that played a lot on our confidence. Amongst having a family that's very much not supportive of you doing music anyway. Do you get what I'm trying to say? In your brain, you think, all right, at least when this happens, this is going to happen. So we faced that. And then, you know, ending of 2013, we ended up working with Wretch 32. You know, shout out Wretch, into 2014. And then we did 6 Words that year. And that's when things kind of started opening up. But it was just a struggle to get people to believe or to be like, yeah, you're actually good. And then you kind of start learning that it isn't really about talent. It's more about who you know and what you know and how you can, you know, maneuver in the industry to make things work. So it was definitely definitely tough. Definitely tough. I'm sure Mikey, you know, his listening's upstairs. I know he's thinking, heck yeah, like it was real. It was tough, you know what I'm trying to say. And then on top of that, having an older brother who was so successful at the time, that wasn't even something that you could. And you know, I hate using him as a thing to get myself situation, but that wasn't even helping. No one cared. It was like, well, yeah, he's British, but he's in America. Do you get what I'm trying to say? It was just always closed doors, and you're not good enough, and we don't think whatever. So it really took us, you know, just homing in on what we're good at. This is what we're good at. Let's just focus on doing this and doing this to the best of our ability. So, you know, big shout out to Rich. He came, and you know, Rich is a man that goes off a feeling. You know, he's a talented guy. You know, for him, it's not about an artist that is doing numbers. Can I feel them? Can I, you know, can I connect to them? And you hear that in his music. And when we started working with him, marriage was just perfect. And that kind of is where things kind of started opening up very slowly, even though there was still a lot of things happening. And even that period when we was working with him and the album came out, it wasn't easy. We were struggling. You get what I'm trying to say? Because you know, people weren't giving us our just dues. People were giving other people credit for things that we did. It was real confidence breaking. Like, but you know, like I said, when the vision is big, when the purpose is clear, you know what I mean, you become more acquainted of how you're gonna achieve it rather than you know, what's happening currently. Thank you, the Dream Day Network.
You did 6 words. I love that track. One of my faves. Interesting that we don't know the producers until we are told. We should hashtag producers matter. Thank you.
Yeah. Hashtag.
No, I really that's what you're saying is really interesting, because I'm sure that there are many people who will struggle to even understand how that works, because for many people, they look at the music industry, they see the glitz, they see the glam, they think, yeah, if someone has done what you have done at that point, you've made it. You're good. You've gone clear. You're rich. You want for nothing. You don't have to. You don't have to be knocking on any doors anymore. People are opening doors for you and welcoming you in. But obviously, I'm thank you for being so transparent, because I think this side of the conversation is necessary and is needed, so that people can have a balanced view of what really actually does go on in this industry. And I don't think I don't even think this is specific to the music industry. I think this is just a reflection of life in general. Sometimes you have to it's about that grind. And I think that's where it goes back to your important life lesson about the resolve being more important than the results. It all fits in nicely. But tell me, how is it that you were able to focus on the resolve, even during a time when doors are slamming in your face? Like, you've got your vision, you've got your idea. All right, once we do X, Y, and Z, we're going to make it. We're going to go. Then you do X, Y, and Z, and doors are still closing in your face. And I really want you to really break that down for us, because I know that there are going to be people who watch this live or on the replay who are in the same position, who are doing the right things, who are taking the right action, who are achieving some sort of maybe success or recognition, but they're still not quite where they want to be. How did you keep on keeping on? And I really want you to touch on the importance of partnership there as well.
Yes. You know, firstly, I have to definitely, again, say shout out to my partner, Mikey, because, you know, there was many points where I definitely was like, Mike, this is long, bruv. Like, this is long. And his tenacity, I guess, and his constant belief in what we had spoken about 10, 15 years ago, about where we wanted to be, kept on being the forefront and the thing that he kept on reminding me. And it was just like, okay, I get it. You know, and being at this point now, the reason why I'm able to say now that the resolve is more important is because, you see, change is at the mercy of time. If you use your time wisely, change is inevitable. Let me say that again.
Please.
Change is at the mercy of time. If you use your time wisely, change is inevitable. That means that we everything is about, it's by 1 second, 2, 3. So whatever you're doing in your 24 hours, consistently, things will change over time. Remember, I said to you that we're not in control of what happens outside of what Naomi can do and what Mo Samuels can do. There's nothing we can do. But what we can do is put the effort in and the time in so that change happens when, whether it's 5 years or whether it's 10 years, you just don't know, but it's going to happen anyway. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And that is something that myself and Mikey and I, was, okay, today, this is what we're going to do in 10 hours. Tomorrow, this is what we're going to do now. This is what we're going to do. So it's almost what's the definition of working smart rather than working hard. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, working smart. So rather than staying in studio till 4 o'clock in the morning, like we used to do, like you remember that, doing 3 a.m. or 5 a.m. Now it's like, I finish at 11. I get at 12. I do everything I need to do in that time, and I go home.
Yeah.
Whether or not I get a smash that day or not, I'm using my time wisely and consistently. And eventually, the changes that you want to see do happen, but you can't focus on the change happening if you're not putting time in.
Oh, sorry, we're losing you a little bit here.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you again. It's just breaking up a little bit. Listen, I've got a question come in from the Dream Days Network. Having made it to an extent, are you now scared that in such a fickle industry, the doors may close at any moment? I guess it relates to poverty trauma. I think it's a great question because, when we think about the shelf life of people who make it in this industry, how do we know when, like, are we confident? Are we comfortable where we're sitting? Or is it like, oh gosh, any minute these doors are going to slam closed again?
Right. Again, legacy, man. Legacy building. You know what I'm trying to say? I've always said that, music is the catalyst for where we're actually trying to be. It's not the be all and end all.
All right.
And if you're able to transcend past your the gift that God has given you, or should I say what you're passionate about, it becomes less about the doors closed, because you know that where you're going, your expected end is going to happen. So everything that happens in between is just a part of where you're going to be. You know what I'm trying to say? So for us, it's not about, at this point, it's not about, we need to make a hit record or we need to be the best producers. No, it's just about who are we blessing along this journey? Whose life are we being affected while we are doing what God has called us to do? Do you get what I'm trying to say? I think I said to you, the value of life, it's not in its duration, but in its donation. It's what you do every day, the effects that you're having on people. And when you focus more on the purpose, what you're currently going through or what the current situation is, doesn't matter. So when a door closes, you don't even get worried about that, because you know what the vision is, you know what God has already shown you. So everything is never a loss. It's always learning or you win. One of those two. You see, God never uses the word you lose or what. Nah, it's always, I want you to go through this so that you can learn. It's character building. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So, a lot of people have, said, being at the position you are, you must be comfortable. And it's just like, nah, the growth has to keep happening, because of what we're trying to achieve, of where we're trying to go, of the legacy that we're trying to build, of, what we're trying to leave behind when we go. Everything is, nothing is forever. Everything is temporary.
Absolutely.
So the time that you have, what are you doing? What people are you blessing? It's not how long you live, it's how effective you live. So I think that's the definite, that's basically what I'm trying to put across to people, that any doors can close at any point. And if I said 5 years ago that, if you had said, if that question had come 5 years ago, I'd have probably been like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm gonna do, and I'll be worried. But being at this point now, I've become less bothered about whether the doors are going to close, because I know it's all part of a plan. It's all part of where we're trying to go. In order for you to know where you're going, you got to know where you're coming from. So
absolutely. Wow. Thank you, Mo, for that. That's a really, really powerful answer. I want to jump back to something that you said near the beginning of our conversation, where you kind of cheated. You told me you got 2 lessons. And I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you about the importance of clapping for other people, even if they're moving faster than you. Again, that is something, you know, I've been involved in the music industry, not in the same capacity as you. I wouldn't know how to produce anything. That's not my gift or my calling. But I have been able to work with different artists and watch and see how things happen. And it could be someone who may be really, really talented, really gifted, and they're grafting, they're putting the work in, and it's just not happening. But then you have someone else who and maybe that person might even be a friend of yours, someone who you kind of running the race together, and all of a sudden they just start sprinting, they're gone, and you're still behind thinking, hey, don't forget me. But it's like they can't even reach back to pull you forward. You mentioned that it is important to clap or to celebrate others, even in a time where you might not be winning yet. Tell me, why is that so important, and how did you learn that?
Man, it's almost a trick to your mind. You know what I'm trying to say? And I say that in the sense that we're all humans. So naturally, we're all like, oh my gosh, in our minds. We might not necessarily say it out loud, but in our minds, we're thinking, oh my gosh, like why is this person pushing past forward? But, you know, everything is about the heart. Everything is about your agenda. Everything is about what you are, what's happening inside, because that transcends outside. And if you're able to put yourself in a position where you are able to clap for people and celebrate people, even before things have happened for you, you're instinctively telling yourself that even though I'm not where I want to be, I'm still happy to see someone that has been a part of my journey push forward, because it's an indication that it is possible.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say, it's almost like an inverted example. Like, rah, I was at this position and you was behind me, and now you've pushed past me. So me seeing that means that whatever method, it works. But your journey is just different to that person. And there might be things that you haven't learned yet, right? That they have learned.
Yeah.
And that's able to propel them to the position that they are, which might be quicker than yours. And all you can do is celebrate that and not be bitter towards it, because in being bitter, you're delaying yourself. That means that you're not ready to be at that level that person now is. Does that make sense? It's all about being ready. Are you ready to be at this position? Remember, we don't know what this person is doing every day. We don't know if this person is constantly working hard and praying and doing all the things that they need to do to get there, right? So when they do go past you, the natural instinct of a human is to question why that person is there. But we don't know what that person has done behind closed doors to get to that position. And this life that we live, it's not about having ego, it's not about having pride. It's about humbling yourself and understanding that every situation is a situation for you to either win, celebrate, or to learn from. So anyone that we have the privilege of bringing through that might shoot past, there's I can sit here and be like, oh yeah, we put this person in position when nothing was happening, and now there. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But it doesn't affect us, because it just becomes more apparent that whatever method that we're using, or at least taught them, or at least passed on, works.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm trying to say? But then it also shows that maybe there's certain things that I'm not necessarily doing, in quotes. Some people might be like, well, everyone did it. But everything is about being prepared. Everything is about being ready. And if that person is ready, if God believes that person is ready and in position to be at that place, he's going to shoot them forward. So, being prepared and ready and constantly working on yourself. See, self-development is very, very important.
Yeah.
Very, very, very important. And you, like I said, you don't know what other people are doing on a day-to-day, the work that they're putting in, the grind that they're putting in. We had to understand that talent isn't enough. I'm trying to say, everybody's talented. Everyone can play the keyboard. Now anyway, everyone can produce. I'm trying to say, you jump on Splice, put two things, you're a producer. I'm trying to say. But in all of that, you just don't know what that person's journey is. You don't know what that person has been through. And if you are not able to be happy for that person, then that means you're not really able to be at that place that you're so desiring and asking God to be at. If that makes sense.
No, it really does. I've got a couple more questions for you. Actually, I'm mindful of the time, but there's some things I think we really have to discuss.
Yeah.
Mo, tell me, when you're on this journey, like, life is not straight up like this. It just doesn't work like that. There's going to be peaks, there's going to be troughs. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It can get crazy. I want to know, like, what would you say are your top tips for staying balanced and staying centered? How do you maintain that resolve? How do you maintain your commitment during seasons or periods when it's actually just not happening for you? Like, I don't, again, I'm going to just put it in my language. I don't know if this is even correct, but what do you get those days when, I don't know, you might go to the studio and both you and Mikey are just, neither of you got any inspiration and you're just not feeling it, and your creative juices aren't flowing like they normally are? How do you stay consistent during those times? And I'll tell you the reason why I'm asking this. I'm asking this because, yes, we're talking about the music game, but again, I believe this is just not, this is life. These are life lessons. You could be in any industry, any sector, any profession, and these universal principles are required about staying consistent, resolve mattering more than the results. During those difficult and challenging times, how do you stay committed to your commitment?
Being okay with where you are. And what I mean by that is, all right, cool. So you said something about, when we go to the studio and there's days that we don't get records.
Yeah.
Being okay with that. A lot of people are not okay with things not going well. A lot of people expect everything every day to just go, and life just isn't set up like that. Sometimes when we don't get anything, do you know what we do? We play FIFA in the studio. We start playing games. We just play FIFA, because at the end of the day, that is something that we can't control. We can't control if today we're going to get creative juices or not. And that's one part of it. The other part of it, kind of veering off, it's really about the people you have around you, the team that you have around you, the friends that you keep. Those are the people that are really going to be able to uphold you when things don't go well. You know what I'm trying to say? You said a word there. You said seasons. If you understand the concept of what seasons are, you understand that no season lasts forever. Do you understand what I'm saying? So in winter, right, what do you do in winter? You prepare, because you know that summer's coming. Everyone says in winter, that's when you get your summer body ready. But it's the hope that that winter isn't going to last forever, and that's coming. You have the right people around you. They're able to remind you of those key principles that whatever is going on currently doesn't determine what your end is going to be like. You know what I'm trying to say? So just like the word says, weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. So it's basically telling you that the morning is going to come. You just don't know how long the night is going to last. But if you can endure the night, the morning will be way more valuable than whatever happened during that time. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Absolutely.
So if you have the right people around you that are constantly able to remind you of these things that you already know. See, the thing is, we already know a lot of this. I'm sure a lot of people listening will be like, I've heard this before, I know this. But if you don't have the right people around you, if you're not listening to the right things, it's going to be easy to forget, because day-to-day life is going on. You've got family, you've got this business, you've got that, this thing is happening, that thing is happening. And you need key individuals that are able to uphold you and remind you that, it's a season. Just like this corona thing, people are just like, how? And it's just like, I know that this season came to pass. I know that it's a season. Nothing lasts for forever. We, as a nation, as a world, we've been through so many pandemics. We've been through so many wars. We've been through, and we're still here. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you understand that the concepts of what seasons are, and that they don't last, it's easier to navigate and get through the times that are not so well. Does that make sense?
Okay, that's I definitely do like that. But I've got another question, which is linked to that. We're talking about the how we behave or how we move in seasons that are, let's call them dry seasons. How do you both yourself and Mikey, how do you guys move in seasons of plenty, in the harvest time, in the time where you are, where you're winning, you're thriving? What's your mindset like? And do you feel that that contributes to the level of success you're able to maintain?
We treat the win season like it's the losing season. Does that make sense? So it's almost like the underdog mentality. So even when things are going well, you still have to move like things are not going well. Because like I said, everything is temporary. Nothing lasts for forever. So even when things are going great and amazing, that doesn't mean that bad times ain't coming. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But what happens is, my mum used to say this thing: at every new level, there's a new devil, right? So that tells you that every time that you get to the next phase of your life, there's a problem waiting. There's a situation waiting. Something is waiting for you. And all it's doing is just character building. That's what it is. It's just building a character so that when you get to the highest point, whenever a situation arises, you know that it's temporary. You know that whatever is going on, it's not the final say. It's not the final destination. It's just a process that you have to go to get to where you're going. And you know, all the other variables, like having the right people around you, watching certain things, listening to certain things, reading certain books, staying healthy, all of these things play pivotal parts in when the season is down, that you can fall back on and understand that, okay, even though it's a bad season, I know the good season is coming, because you understand that nothing lasts for forever. So that when you're in the good times, you're able to value it way more, and you move like, you know, you're in the bad times, because you know that anything can happen at any time. It's like something that Joshua used to say all the time. It's like, I've always got this underdog mentality. Like, I always go into a boxing match like I have no belts, like I've won nothing, because if I go in there with the idea that I'm the champion and I'm the winner, which is all good and well, sometimes it's a form of ego, you know what I'm trying to say? And you kind of go in there already thinking, nah, yeah, you know, I'm good and everything, and, you know, everything is great now, I've got the money, whatever. And, you know, universe might be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm just going to mess everything up for you. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And you always have to be prepared for that. So even when things are going great, it's about remaining grounded. It's about remaining humble. It's about understanding that the journey is something that you do constantly. It's about not what's happening right now, but about what becomes of the situation that you're currently in 10 years. So yeah, man, you know, it's so much that we can go into and say, yo, it's this and this and this, but just based on my own experience, it's treating the harvest like you're still sowing. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I do.
Yeah, man. Every day is a day. Even when things are going well, you still got to put the seeds out. Even when the trees, like a farmer, that he's sown and everything is just, it doesn't mean that he has to stop. Nah, he never stops. He keeps planting. He keeps sowing. That's just an indication that it works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Mo, this is, you know, here's the thing. I'm mindful of the time, and I know we do have to wrap up soon. I've got a couple more questions, and then I'm going to let you go. And for everyone who is, for everyone who's tuned in online, with your joining us live on Facebook or on YouTube, thank you for sticking with us. We are going to be wrapping up soon. Mo, I've got a question, a bit more of a practical maybe question. There might be some people on here who are wanting to build a business, or in the music industry, want to build a career in the music industry. Maybe we've got some aspiring producers on the line right now, maybe some up and coming artists, or, you know, you have obviously transitioned. You are no longer down the road from me. You are like 11 hours on a plane away from me, right? So I want you to, I know, and we're not going to go into it too heavily, because I know we'll be here for another hour if we do. But tell me, do you feel that move was really pivotal to where you are now? And I don't mean literally, because obviously it was, but I mean, of you, because you've mentioned about who you have around you. You've mentioned about the type of content that we consume, whether it is the things that we watch, things that we listen to, the conversations that we have with people.
Yeah.
How much of a role did moving from the UK to LA, how much of a role did that play in where you are in terms of your, your professional life, or also your mindset and everything? Tell me about that. Tell me about that journey.
It probably played the biggest part in where we are now. And again, I have to give a big shout out to Harmony, because he led the way. For a while that we were coming here, we were just like, nah, I don't know about living here. I don't know about being here. One of the things that we realized being here is there is no sense of culture in LA. In London, we're surrounded by, culture. You can go to an African restaurant, and then just across the corner, you can go to a Jamaican restaurant, and then just across the street, you don't have that here. Everything is very much, sparse. There isn't that level of culture. But when we had done everything we possibly could in London, we had no choice but to break out and come here. And irrespective of, what our concerns were about not having culture, it just became more about, okay, we need to do this in order to get to where we need to go. And then we get here, and then your mind is blown. Remember when you came? Your mind is blown.
Absolutely.
Everything that you thought wasn't possible, because I feel like there's a glass ceiling in London. I love my city. I love London so much. But I feel like there's a glass ceiling. Everybody kind of wants you to operate at a certain pace, at a certain things. You can only make so much money. You can only, attain certain things. You can only work with certain people. The industry only wants you as an urban producer to work with urban artists. And it's just like, nah. So when we came here, it was just about, I don't care whether you have this or that. You're talented. I just want to work with you. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And that really was the factor to why we were able to achieve everything, because people were more receptive to the idea that we were just talented, rather than how many numbers do you have and who do you know and what do you know? Do you get what I'm trying to say? Yeah. And this sounds silly, but the weather plays a big part. I'm sure you can see.
Oh no, doesn't sound silly at all. I can relate. I need the sun.
Yeah. Nah, literally, like being able to wake up and see the sun every day is a blessing, because it's just like, wow, the sun, it puts you in a good mood. It makes you feel a certain way. It makes you want to be like, all right, I can get up and work today. And being in London, when you're just seeing constant clouds, constant gray every day, you're just like, I'm not going to studio today. I'm staying home. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So, and I know that not everyone has the opportunity, which I'm very much grateful for, but like sometimes it might not even necessarily be America. Sometimes just going somewhere else to a different environment, to seeing something different is the catalyst that you need to propel you to the next phase of your life. Not being confined to this, what you're used to every day. You know what I mean? So, but you have to be open to experience it and actually, taking the leap and sacrificing everything, because it was a sacrifice for us, leaving family behind, leaving everything behind, coming here, 6,000 miles away, 11 hours on the plane. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But when you understand again where you're trying to go and what you're trying to achieve, you'd be willing to go anywhere. You'd be willing to
pay the price.
Because you know that whatever you're going to achieve is going to benefit those that are part of you, that are part of your family. So, but you just have to be willing to stick in the account and swim in the deep end, because this place is the deep end, man. And you know what I mean? If you're really cut out for it, you float.
Mo, this might sound like a silly question, but I just need to hear it. The sacrifices that you've made, the fear that you may have overcome, the transition that you made, was it worth it?
100%. And if I could have done this 10 years earlier, I definitely would. Just because the mindset of people out here are very different. You know what I'm trying to say? It's just a go-getting city. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, there's no room for slacking. You have the opportunity to see people at close range that are really, really successful.
Yeah.
And it forces you to have to get your game on. You know what I'm trying to say? I give Harmony as an example, seeing him every day do what he does. This is a guy that we slept in the same bed and, at my mom's house. And, he used to watch me, walking in my Pampers and walking around and stuff. To seeing him, become so successful, you realize that him making a transition and being here, I understood why he did it. At the time, I didn't. I was crying. He reminded me of that story when, he left London, and I was so distraught about it. But being here, I'm like, I get why you're being here, because should I say the heavens are open, like the ceiling is open, like the goals are endless, there's no restrictions, and that does, I'm not saying that America doesn't have its problems and it doesn't have its issues, which it very much does.
Of
and
course.
see it.
Yeah.
When it comes to work ethic, when it comes to opportunity, when it comes to believing that your dreams can become a reality, this place has definitely offered that. I'm trying to say, we wouldn't have ever got on Justin Bieber or worked with J-Lo last year like we did. We were in London, because a lot of those people would have said, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, nah, you might not be able to. I don't think you're ready for that. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But be in an environment where you're thrown in the deep end. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's big fishes here. And you gotta grow up and be a big fish. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But sometimes you won't learn that if you're not putting yourself in that position.
Absolutely.
We stayed in the position of being in London and being okay with, just doing what we do, and, little top 10 here, not 5 here, and this artist here, and just sticking with the urban artists. We wouldn't have come here, I'm trying to say. But, vision has phases. And as you get older and as you grow, your vision grows as well, and it becomes bigger. So, yeah, that would be my thing. It definitely has played a big part to where we are now, and we're eternally grateful.
Oh, amazing! It's amazing, Mo. I know we could, have long conversations. We could definitely talk forever on this. We're gonna wrap up real soon, but I want to know. We've talked a lot. It's been an hour and coming up to 13 minutes.
Damn, that's good. Very attractive. Very good.
But there's been so many gems that you've dropped throughout this conversation. But I guess I really want to know now, if there was only one single message that you wanted everyone watching now or on the replay to leave and to take away, what would that one message actually be?
Be relentless. Be relentless. I think you asked me this sort of question yesterday, or last week. And I said, if I was ever 15 again, I'd probably rebel even more than I was rebelling at the time. Because, everything that we were destined to be was already placed inside of us. Your future is inside of you. It's not ahead of you. So what you naturally find yourself doing a lot of the time is what God has actually called you to do, or the gift he's given you. And, going back to that thing about, your parents, it's just like, no, you can't do that. No, that's bad. No. And sometimes religion is used as a way to control and stop you from doing those things. But, being relentless sometimes literally having to say to your own family that I don't care what you're saying. I believe this is what I'm called to do. I believe that this is what God has called me to do. This is where I'm trying to be. You have to just be relentless and stick it out. And now it might take time, and it might take you longer than you thought it would. But the reality is you're happy doing it. You wake up every morning doing that thing. I used to say to some of my friends that, would complain about, working their jobs, and I rate everybody that, does a 9 to 5. I think it's amazing. And they used to be like, yeah, I just don't think. And it's just like, well, if you're not happy doing it, if you're not waking up every day happy doing this, then maybe you shouldn't be doing it. Say, I couldn't, if music wasn't something that I woke up every day to do, then it'd be pointless, because I wouldn't be putting 100% into it. It would just be very half-hearted, and I'm just doing it for a check. I'm just doing it so I can get paid. Nah, it loses the value. It loses the reason as to why you're doing it. But just kind of pulling back on what I was saying about the future being inside you. Like, everything that we was meant to be, everything that we were called to be was already predestined before you was even conceived, before you was even thought about. And as long as you, remember that in your mind, you know that I'm going to achieve whatever it is, because I know that this was placed on the inside of me before I was even thought about, before God even sent me here. And it's really just about relying on the process, trusting the process, like they say. It's easy to say, but I'm an example of that. Trust in the process. And the process is God. God is that process. He is the person that is able to remind you, who is able to keep you in a place where even when things are going wrong, you know that it's only temporary, and you know that you're going to get to an expected end. You know what I'm trying to say? It's all inside you. I used a scenario, and I said, a lot of people look at a seed and see the seed, but if you flip on its head, you realize that the forest is in the seed. The things that you see when you look at a jungle or whatever, it didn't just appear. It started from someone planting a seed, or a seed being sown somewhere, and it germinated and it became that. So you understand that whatever it is that you want to do has already been placed inside of you. You just have to be willing to say yes and to go with it. Whatever comes your way, family, friends, relationships, people that, pretend that like they're for you, but they're not for you. That's part of the process. And you have to constantly keep your eye focused. What's it? The eye on the prize, keeping your eye focused on what the vision tells you is going to happen. So yeah, man. Keep that in the forefront of your mind, that my future is ahead of me, is inside of me. It's not ahead of me. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
We're getting Mo. Here's one thing. Yeah, we have. I knew this was going to happen. I said it was going to happen. We're going to be talking. We're going to just barely scratch the surface, and then time is going to be up. Like I'm way over time. But the Dream Days Network says, no, we have to get all your guests on one round table show. It would be amazing.
Yes.
But we'd love to have you back. We'd love to continue the conversation. And I must say, I know you've been referencing Mikey, your brother, your business partner, and Mikey has graciously agreed to be a guest on the show. So we're going to be locking down some dates. We're going to get him, so we're going to be able to hear his perspective on all of this, and it will be interesting to hear his side of his story as well. And also referenced your brother Harmony, and Harmony is another person who has graciously agreed to come and be a guest on the show. So
that's the one that everyone should tune in. Like, I'm gonna tune into that one, because that's 25 to 30 years of experience in the game, a lot of knowledge. He's achieved a lot of things that I feel like my generation, people above me and younger than me, would definitely be able to connect to. So I'd be excited for that one, and Mikey's too.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited about this, and I'll tell you the main reason I'm excited is because it's that shared knowledge, that shared wisdom. There's going to be people on here, Mo, who may never ever get to have a conversation with you, but because of what you've shared on this platform, they'll be able to get to know what your mind is like, and they'll be able to emulate that. They'll be able to adopt some of the principles that you've shared with us, and it should hopefully lead them to similar results in their respective field. So thank you for your honesty. Thank you for your openness and transparency. It's been refreshing. It really has been.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for allowing me to come here and to, I guess, pass on information that I've had. I love doing that. That's what makes us all grow, is being able to gain information and passing it on to our fellow brothers and sisters. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to be able to do that.
Oh, you're most welcome. Absolutely. Mo, I do have one final question. I like this. The forest is in the seed. Mo Samuels. I like that. We got my mum jumping in. Love his spirituality.
Hello, Mum.
Yeah, Mum's definitely a big fan. I told her that you definitely took care of me when I was in LA. So she's definitely going to be a massive fan of you. And Phoebe's just saying, thank you so much for this. It really encouraged me. And this is what it's all about. You said it. This is how we grow. This is how we're able to keep our knowledge and our information in the community, and how we're able to keep sharing with one another and then helping each other become better. That's what it's all about.
That's what it's about, man. You said it again. So
Mo, so tell us, and I give this opportunity to everyone who comes on. Tell us how we can connect with you. Tell us how we can support you. What have you got going on that we, the community watching this, can give our support to? Tell us what's going on. What's next for Mo and Mike?
What's next for us? So much, but no, we are currently working on Amber. Well, we finished, but we've been working on Amber Riley, her project, her EP, that will be out very, very shortly.
Mm-hmm.
We've also been working on some new music with Justin, so that should be out soon. He's actually putting out a Christian album very soon, so keep your eyes peeled.
Who's Justin? Who's Justin?
Sorry, Justin Bieber. Yeah, so he's got a Christian album that's coming that Mikey and I have been working on for 4 years with Pooh Bear. Shout out Pooh Bear. We also have our own publishing company. We did a joint venture with Peer at the top of the year. We started our first artist, so we are again constantly and always looking at new artists. We're always keeping our eyes peeled, to the streets, as they say, for the next hot thing. And yeah, you know what? The support for me would just be, the prayers, really. I'm trying to say we're very simple people. We're not people that really ask for much. We believe in just doing what we have to do and what we believe that, we've been brought to earth to do. But yeah, just constant prayers and just the constant openness to have the conversation and share knowledge is what we really require or really want. So anyone that has questions, please don't feel like, I can't now. We are very open to answering questions, to talking about things and, passing off knowledge, whether it's, how to do this on Logic or whatever it is, we're very much open people like that. So you can find me on Instagram, Mo_Samuels. I'm also on Twitter, Mo Keys. Don't really do the Facebook thing. But yeah, those two, you could definitely find me. And, I'd be more than happy to stay in contact and constantly be a blessing.
Oh, amazing. Well, guys, you heard it here. Reach out to him if you've got questions, if you need advice, need guidance. Of course, he's dropped a lot of wisdom on this stream right now. But we got the Dream Days Network currently in hospital. So, definitely prayers to you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah. A couple nurses have watched and they loved it. Wonderful.
That's blessings, man. I'm happy. God bless you.
Listen, I always say this, and this is my rant to end every show, that we need to celebrate our people whilst they are still here, whilst they are still alive, to be able to hear us. And Mo, we have a relationship offline, we talk, and I also have to say publicly that you are an absolute blessing. When I said before, in my description, that you've got wisdom beyond your years, I was certainly not exaggerating. And I'm so sure that everyone who's watching this, whether live or on the replay, will be able to recognize that you're not just the average young guy who's only focused on achieving great things in the music game. We can see that you are definitely a well-rounded person who clearly has been under the tutelage and under the mentorship of people who are great, people who have gone before you, people who have kind of blazed the trail and have been able to pour into you. And it's such a wonderful blessing to then give you the opportunity to pour into all of us. So thank you so much. And again, guys, like he said it. He said what type of support he needs. So let's do that. Let's give that. He's asked for our prayers. So let's definitely make sure that we are doing that, and we are covering Sons of Sonics, Mo and Mikey, that they can continue to thrive, that they can continue to flourish, that they can continue to achieve all the success that has been placed within them, and also that we continue to pray that they have the confidence and are able to maintain that resolve to get the results. That we know that is definitely within them. What was the lesson? The one lesson was the resolve is more important than the results. Guys, I want to encourage you to make also part of your resolve to support your people, to support your brothers and sisters as they are on the come up, to support these people as they are. We got amazing people within our community doing great things, and you're within reach. Like the fact that, look, Mo has said to everyone, come connect with him, reach out.
Yeah.
We've got
phone number on now. yeah.
You know, and so Mo, you know what? It's inspirational.
Yeah.
I love being able to go into Google, type in Sons of Sonics, and see like what you guys have been able to achieve, and to know that you started off on the same ground, just like, you know, just like us. You're just like an average, a normal guy, just like everyone else who's watching. But the only difference is that you have adopted a really healthy and empowering mindset. You have applied some principles that have catapulted you to where you are today. And we celebrate that. We acknowledge that you have done something that is absolutely amazing. It's not to be taken for granted. And so thank you. Continue. I always tell you, every time you've got something major going on in your life, I always will pop up and drop a message saying, thank you.
No,
keep on, because that gives us who are here or wherever the encouragement that we need, like you're saying, to keep on going, to keep pressing, to know that it is possible. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mo.
I said, no, thank you so much. I'm just really, really grateful. You know, thank you to everyone that dropped comments, everyone that came in and for the questions. And, you know, again, just thank you for the opportunity, you know, for, you know, like I always tell you, we will just stay in our corner and just keep doing what we're doing. So, but, you know, having a platform, I think you're doing an amazing thing as well. Everyone should definitely say thank you to Naomi for setting this up and you know, making it possible for people like me and, you know, those that are not even like me to come on here, talk about their story and share knowledge. Because, you know, like you said, the important thing is making sure that we are able to uplift and build our brothers and sisters. You know, this isn't a one-man band. This isn't about one person being at the top of the food chain. No, this is all about us rising together. Changing our generation together. Doing that, we'll be able to achieve amazing things. So thank you.
You're most welcome. Again, you know, I'm similar to you in terms of my outlook, that this is about the future. This is about legacy. This is one day, Mo, I know that I'm going to be reduced to a memory.
Yes.
I started thinking, well, what do I want that memory to actually be? I can't build a legacy based on what I was going to do or what I thought about doing. I don't want my legacy to be about potential. I want it to be about what did I actually do? What's that thing that you said about donation duration? Say it again for me, Mo.
The key to life is in its donation, not in its donation, not its duration. So it's not about how long you live, it's about how effective you live.
Absolutely.
Dr. Miles said the richest place on earth is the graveyard. Why? Because there's so many dreams, so many people that didn't have the opportunity or didn't do it out of fear.
Yeah.
We allow ourselves to go to the grave without offloading everything that we were given before we were born. You know, we were given documents before we were even conceived to go into the world and do what we were called to do. So it's important that when we get to the end that we so say is death, we're able to people are able to say they did this and they were a blessing here and this is the legacy that they've left. So you know, it's in the effectiveness that true success is achieved.
Absolutely. You're so right. So guys, you know what? This has been great. I didn't think this was going to go on for this long. People are still with us, so I guess that means that you must be sharing something valuable. They haven't left us, so thank you so much, Mo. It's always a pleasure having conversations with you, and it was nice to be able to have one of our private conversations publicly. I know that people are going to be blessed. So please, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop your details in the comments in terms of like your Instagram and what have you, so that people can connect. Guys, go follow him, connect, go support, do whatever you have to do.
As well, I'm not bougie. I'll be following back. I'm not bougie, so yeah, I'll be following back. Yes, please, get in touch for sure.
Wonderful. Mo, thank you so much for your time. And to all of our viewers online, both on Facebook and on YouTube, whether you're watching this live or on the replay, thank you so much for being here, because at the end of the day, if it isn't for you, then this really wouldn't even be worth it. Because this is the reason why we do it. It's not just for us. You know, I'm privileged to have Mo in my life. I can call up Mo and have a private conversation, but this is bigger than both of us. This is about getting what we have up here out there, so that everyone gets a chance to dip into that and be able to make their lives better. That's really ultimately what we want to do, to impact our corner of the world whilst we're here. So we are going to be back again next week Sunday at the same time, 8 p.m. British summertime, 3 p.m. if you're on the East Coast, midday if you're on the West Coast.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm going to have another special guest. And for those of you wondering, when is Harmony going to be on? I want to say it's the 12th of July. I think that's what it is, but I will definitely, you'll see the announcement. Connect with me on social media. You'll be able to see the announcement when he's coming on. I'm yet to lock down a date with Mikey, but he's going to be coming up too. So Mo, Mikey, thank you guys. Thank you for your gift. Thank you for everything that you've done. And for those of you who are watching us, thank you again for being with us. You make this so pleasurable and so enjoyable. And I really do hope that you've taken away something from today that will help you on your journey, even if it is just to help you keep going and push through the next week. I know that life isn't always easy, and sometimes we do need to hear a word that will give us the encouragement to just press on for a little longer. So I'm looking forward to being able to celebrate your continued success, Mo. It's a pleasure. And so guys, we are going to be back again next week at 8 p.m. with another episode of the Naomi Empowers Show. So until then, wishing everyone a great week, a productive week. Continue to thrive, continue to flourish, and go ahead and chase your dreams. You have a duty to make it reality. So guys, that's all for me. So Mo, take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Naomi. Thank you to everyone that logged in. God bless you guys.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.